Oh, what is up, my friends? We are finally getting started here with episode 21 of Map 5. Yeah, finally. I know. Can't take me anywhere. Hey, welcome to our Path to Pro podcast. The only thing that's more scuffed than Path to Pro itself would be...
We should have been the Path to Podcast.
Path to Podcast! Oh, that's it. We're rebranding. Just start the whole thing over. Path to Podcast.
Yep. Back
You're
to
right.
episode 1.
You're right. But yeah, just take it back to episode 1. Thanks that you're only 21 episodes too late with that brilliant name.
Hang on. You've had like months to say that, man.
It has literally only just occurred to me. I'm gonna blame the extended break I've had from the podcast to.
I will say I'm not sure if Path to Podcast would fit in our little corner at the bottom of the screen. Like that's a lot of letters to put down in the corner. You know, branding wise.
Like Path to Pro, but like
yeah, we could have done Pizza.
It's a logo, man. Like you could do some stuff with it.
I could try. I like our branding though. I think I actually did okay. It's okay.
No, you
did good. You can have a Scooby snack. It's good.
Thank you. The branding was better than this intro, that's for sure. I feel like it's been way too long since I've seen either of y'all. We got Phil and Ocean back here on the podcast.
Billy... I have a string of notes from my mum for the various reasons why I've not been on the podcast, ranging from going on holiday to Philadelphia to having COVID. So, you know, there's been reasons I've not been here.
Oh no, for sure. And unfortunately, for reasons, Billy is not able to join us tonight.
Yes.
Still a process of a move.
We're going through a hard fucking year, man.
It's been a rough few weeks. That's not a lie.
It's not been great for any of us, really, has
it? It's absolutely not a competition, but I do feel like Billy is winning.
Yeah.
In like good excuses to not be on the podcast. Although in Billy's defense, he wanted to be on the podcast. He was offering to call in on his phone, and we were like, it is hard enough getting this running with people on PCs. We're not folding a phone into the run of show.
Plus, he's just got so much on his plate with trying to get the new living situation organized. I was like, you know what?
Just got cancelled as well. It's just everything's going.
Oh
wrong.
Yeah, that's the real tragedy.
What got canceled?
Sorry, my trip to London, man.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I've never been. But yeah, so we've missed y'all, and we are back. It's okay. I've missed y'all. I can't speak for these two, but we are back and here to share what little wisdom we have, and that will I guess take us right into news.
Yeah,
there you go. 10 out of 10 segue as always, and of course I didn't attach the.
It was a wonderful segue. The problem was the person that was due to talk after the segue wasn't ready, and the really unfortunate part of that is that person was you, Jeff.
They're both me. Oh yes, indeed, this is true. All right, I am ready now. Here we go. Getting into news. Not a whole lot of news this week, to be honest, or well, even the past couple weeks. I mean, you know, Bsides going on, but we do have a couple things to talk about. We're going to start with this announcement from Redbird Esports, actual University of Illinois, or Illinois State, excuse me, announcing their coaching lineup for this year. So, Lie Algebra and Command Attack for Rocket League and League, respectively. Flutie kind of announced here as head coach for Overwatch. Now, Flutie had always been a part of this Overwatch program, was part of the reason Wheats got brought in the first place. I believe Wheats is still around. Wheats is still posting photos with the team. I mean, as of like 2 days ago. So I don't think Wheats has gone anywhere, despite the kind of oddity in this announcement that he's not included.
Well, it's because I'm guessing here. It's because Wheats has a similar position to the players, where he is a scholarship recipient. He is a student, and so he is not like he's like a technical coach. He's here to do like the minutiae of you pressed Alt 3 frames too early, therefore we lost the entire series. Whereas I think Flutie is kind of I'm sure she will reach out and correct me because she always does. Is sort of like more high level coaching and like program direction is what I expect from this kind of position.
Well, and I know Wheats was traditionally in charge of their like contenders team essentially,
Mm.
and Flutie was in charge of the academy teams because there's 3, if not 4, ISU squads that compete in the different collegiate events. So that, I mean, they range in skill level and kind of get promoted internally and all that kind of thing. And Flutie was always in charge of. I know they have red team and white team.
Yeah.
I could have swore there was one other. Maybe it is just the 3.
Maybe there's a pink.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But so that's how I had always heard that their duties got split up. But still, that was the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this. I was like, Wheats isn't included in the announcement, so I immediately went to Wheats' Twitter to make sure. But there's been nothing announced on Wheats going anywhere. No. Like, Wheats put this team together, put together the original squad that all went up into OWL. So, but yeah, ISU still one of the top 5 schools in the country as far as esports is concerned, and continuing to go strong here.
We're not quite at the point yet where everybody from that roster's hit Overwatch League, are we?
The original one, yeah.
The original 6 did, yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, because Luke Mino got picked up. Yeah, well, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, with Luke Mino going, yep, that is all 6 of their roster from last year are now.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Moving on. We do have a loading screen. We also have a one-on-one tournament coming in. Light, one of the players from Path to Pro, playing for UC Irvine, is putting together a 1v1 tournament. $5 entry fee. For whatever reason,
it's not sensitive.
The photo didn't load. It's just a photo.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of cool. Put together from a player, like 4 of the other players. Just a fun little 1v1 tournament. $200 prize for first place for a $5 entry. Like, not too shabby.
No, it's pretty good. Love to see this kind of grassroots initiative. Always fun.
I mean, and these kind of terms are so important. I mean, it's not groundbreaking, and as far as showing off like top tier teams, but it's good to get this community engagement. It's very good for the ecosystem as a whole. So props to Light, because that took a lot of initiative, and there's a lot of work going. Even just putting together a 1v1 tournament, like there's a lot of work that goes into being a TO and organizing something like this. So props to Light for taking that initiative.
Yeah, well said.
Ocean.
Oh,
I think you're up, my friend.
You've already done your 2 sections. You're right. So this is like nothing like too big. So Melanation got eliminated from Bsides. So coach has decided just to focus on 01. Kind of left Melanation and will be focusing on coaching the 01 roster with Mercury and getting the best results possible. Which I know they weren't too happy with their performance in the Bsides qualifier, but they got top 8. They did the job, and I think they'll still do well. I think they've got good coaching staff. I think they've got good players. Always liked 01. Always think they recruit well. Simple as that. Easy as pie. Except pie is quite difficult. I was never good at maths.
I thought you were going to say I was never very good at baking, which either way the joke is rounded out.
I think I'm actually like decent at like cooking things. I've never really tried baking. I was going to make cookies like.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Well, the reason I've been off the podcast for this, I've been really demotivated. I was demotivated to fucking make cookies, and yeah.
Jeff, just an absolute brilliant decision to give Ocean full screen when he's talking about being demotivated. I think that is a genuinely hilarious production choice. Thank you.
I do it.
You know what? It has actually been really horrible. Okay.
Promise we're not laughing at you, Ethan.
No, it's kind of just laughing at my own
Everyone does.
stupidity.
It's all right.
I thought you were going to talk about like how you hadn't been on the podcast because you were making cookies. So I thought it was going to go in a different direction, and it turns into this actual like somewhat serious.
No, it's not been a great couple of weeks for young.
There's been something in the air, man. There's been something in the air here at Map 5. It's been, but you pick yourself up by your bootstraps when we move forward, and we keep doing the thing. So here we are.
No, Blizzard took away everything that I loved. So
even the cookies.
Especially the cookies.
Especially the cookies.
Aaron Keller flew over to Northern Ireland, kicked down Ocean's door, stole his cookie ingredients.
But explain what he's doing instead of, patching out Junker Queen bugs, but
They're working on that. They've already announced that they're
working.
patching out a lot of things. So hey, be patient. All right, be patient, my friends.
I'm just saying.
Any whoozle be. Let's move on to the last couple of news items here. This next news item will be important for my part of the main topic of the episode, which is HLXC. I forget exactly what the pronunciation stands for. I believe the X is Xiao, meaning small. But this is a B-side qualifiers team, and they've actually, if you scroll down a little bit there, Jeff, the name means Dutch trolley, but it doesn't. It's whatever. Shows the top couple lines of the roster.
Oh, Salvation's hair. Salvation's hair.
Oh yeah, we'll get onto Salvation's hair, but originally they had this listed as October 3rd and October 2nd, but look at this roster, because this is not only a ex-Overwatch League roster in several places, given that we have Coldest and Michaeli playing
and
together.
Ligue.
And Ligue. Yeah, sorry, forgot about Ligue. This is also probably about as close as we are going to get to a Bilibili Gaming reunion. Not the most recent iteration of the roster, but all of these players, I think, all of the players that are in blue rather than in red, have played for Bilibili Gaming in recent memory. And having broadcast the Contenders China region, I actually don't know if I've been on this podcast since I got to cast Contenders China. There is one team in Contenders China that is currently worth a damn.
Fucking is the word.
Yeah. But now we have a second. Like, this one, I think, actually really could do something in this region. They're currently running through qualifiers. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But it's an exciting roster, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they can challenge Flagship Recreators, who are the current team that Fox in Contenders China.
Yeah, the current team that went perfect, didn't drop a single map.
Didn't drop a map, yeah. Weren't even really pushed to the limit of nearly dropping a map. Like,
right.
They had a pretty easy ride. Contenders China, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, but Contenders China has been a weird region this season.
Which is why this roster is so important. This roster is very important for that region. We'll get into those reasons later.
Yeah,
before you skip onwards.
Okay. One more point, and then we'll do the ocean adjacent bit of news on this one. Interesting to note here that this roster actually takes players from other rosters that competed in A-side. So Salvation and Coldest, again, is now playing as Cold J rather than Coldest. Played for Solus Victorum, I believe, in A-sides, and so Solus Victorum have had to make a couple of adjustments here. But yeah, it's again a fun roster, and we've got to point out that Salvation has arguably some of the best hair currently in competitive Overwatch. If we can tab through into this,
I'm waiting for the picture to load right now.
Yeah, if this is like current up to date Salvation, then
I was checking Coldest.
Oh, that's Coldest.
I was checking Coldest's history here. It looked like he was on Time Resume.
Time Resume.
That's a name.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then
let's
to Salvation.
Salvation.
Look at that.
You might have to. You're not quite there on screen.
Oh,
for
I have
us,
to.
Jeff.
I have to. Let's see if I can. There we go.
There we go.
Where was it that you originally sent me this? Because you were like, Phil actually sent a message to me, and was like, changing Zach. Have you seen Salvation's hair?
Yeah.
Like, you directed me to this beforehand, so we actually had a discussion on this, like when this roster was announced.
Yeah, it's quite a look.
That is quite a look.
Look, right, you got good hair, you're a good player, right? It's as simple as that.
It's why Ocean is nearly at Overwatch League level.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. I am LFT for any management positions in Overwatch League. But yeah.
Well, there we go.
As a long-haired podcast, we are all in envy.
Everybody except Billy.
Yeah, Billy donated.
We can make up for it, though.
Yeah, exactly. Billy donated his hair so that the three of us could have luscious locks.
But look, in fairness, right? Name a player who's got long hair, non-cool and well-nurtured hair who's bad at Overwatch.
But we wouldn't know them. Me.
Anyway,
I don't know why you're degrading yourself, Mr. Bosco. I was thinking you on the arrest, you cracked left on the sticks.
Final news item here, turning our attention very briefly now to the collegiate scene. CECC have announced their Southern regional qualifier. So I don't know how formal like the breakdown of regions is for CECC, but they've previously had, I believe, an Eastern region competition. They've got the Southern region competition coming up. So that's across a group of popular esports, Smash, Valorant, Rocket League, and Overwatch, but importantly, Overwatch 2. And because of that, they are doing Overwatch 2 a little bit later to allow people to actually get onto Overwatch 2 and have a week playing it before starting out in CECC. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled if you are in a university in the south of the country. I believe that is Texas, Florida, and then some other southern states. And it's frankly a miracle I know those two.
Yeah, it's Kentucky down to Florida, and then everything in between, and then as far west as Texas against that line. So,
gotcha.
Very traditional South, I guess you could say.
Mm.
All the assholes of the country.
Hey, look, I didn't say that. Ocean didn't say that.
I was thinking it, though. I'm not going to lie.
I'm a born and raised Texan. I can say it. It's gonna no one hits my little brother but me kind of scenario and that. So
why are you hitting your little brother? What's he done?
I don't even have a brother.
There's
like,
sometimes good
that's
reason.
how hard I
There's
hit my little
sometimes
brother. He
good
doesn't
reason.
exist. I just knocked him right out.
There's sometimes
You killed
good
him.
reason, all right?
No, my mom actually would make the joke that I had siblings, but I was the only one that survived. Like that was.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You actually know any? You know.
Hey, you know, you gotta be tough to
Texas.
survive my family, man. Oh
I'm
my!
glad you didn't answer that question about me. You know, asking if you had any assassins in Texas that you know.
If we had any assassins?
Yeah, that you know. You could,
no, I have.
No.
I am not familiar with the John Wick group based out of Texas.
Nah, okay.
I haven't found that hotel yet.
Be looking for some.
Maybe I just need to go to like a. We don't have any like street side like sushi stands, you know, where all the assassins work.
Is that how assassins work?
Have you not seen John Wick? You should go watch John Wick. Fantastic set of movies.
Is
what?
there assassins in the movie?
Oh yeah, it's all about assassins. The whole movie's about fucking assassins. It's honestly phenomenal series. All three of them are really good.
I don't watch live action.
Oh, I see. Hey, as an animator, I can appreciate that, but I
do like anime assassins.
I just love martial arts flicks in general, like that. They just, you know, and yeah, John Wick is martial arts with guns. It's phenomenal.
Okay, well you heard that here first, folks. Go watch
Why the
John
fuck
Wick.
did I get us onto that topic?
Underground Darling. Let's have a look. Let's keep this rolling along. Let's have a look at our rookie watch picks for this week. And it's going to surprise nobody. My rookie of the week this week is going to be, drumroll please, of course, it's Vindame. Actually, like, me picking Vindame has kind of become just a bit of a meme because I think it's funny to keep doing it. This, however, was genuinely fucking cracked. Like, let's roll the VT.
This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I have to do things and stuff and things, and here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in.
Yeah, so Soul Dynasty, Chengdu Hunters. We may have dragged back just a smidge here.
I think it was actually forward. Yeah, because it's in the replay.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, perfect.
Ah!
Oh, there we go.
Well-oiled machine. No. Well-oiled machine. There it is.
Here we go. Yeah. So Boops the opponent up into the air, gets the kill, stops the beat coming through. Just exactly what you want from your Lucio player. So Vindame, add that to the list of Phil's rookie of the week section.
Let's slow that down a little bit, because that's just amazing. Like, hits him right as he's about to hit the ground, too, and then lands the headshot. I mean...
Like, my brain does not move fast enough to do that kind of stuff.
That was at half speed, and it was still too fast for me.
Yeah. You didn't change the player that you picked, though, did you, Mr. Jeff?
Me? Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't change it to run a show, but I changed it for what I'm going to actually show on the podcast.
What? No! Wait, hang on.
I had to.
Nah.
I could. Yeah. No, I had to throw an audible.
Going to pick.
There were technical issues behind it. I had to throw an audible.
Okay.
I had to change things up to the last second.
You ruined everything.
I know. I ruined our theme. That's what I'm here for. You have plans. I'm here to ruin them. Why don't you take us through your pick though?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. I have selected, to nobody's surprise, Chorong.
Hey.
Nobody's surprised. So initially, when I was kind of going through this, I was thinking about picking Chio. Originally, Jeff was going to pick Chio for tonight, and I already got a clip picked out. So I got Chorong for his performance with the Toronto Defiant against the Los Angeles Gladiators. I was just going to I was going to make Jeff just show the whole performance, but he didn't have
We were just going to watch this entire series. That was...
I mean, it was a really good performance. It was a really, really good main support performance from Chio. But we picked this little clip. I was just kind of running for it. Got a kill on the Skewge, and then booped Reiner away in the Rampage, and then dies right after. But cool start to the fight from Chio.
Yeah,
not Chio, Chorong. My rookie of the year pick, really. it was Padafan or Chorong is the two I kind of put forward. And Chorong's came alive this stage. What do you know? In a meta that involves a lot of tempo, a good main support starts doing well.
This boop is actually pretty sick because you see they're all kind of lined up. Chorong's just like, nope, you're going over there.
But he does that the entire series. Like I could have picked I could have went for every team fight. He did something. He was very, very good that series. I think, like, realistically, a lot of the really good main supports are winning games right now. Lee Jae-gon, Vindime, Chorong, and Chio in particular. All four in this stage being very, very good. I think you have to rely on tempo a lot, and these guys understand tempo.
I honestly, and without bias, think that if Chio can keep this up, he is a Rookie of the Year contender.
I think he's an MVP contender. I said that, at the start of this stage. He's been good enough to be an MVP contender.
God, a Lucio player for MVP, that's a bit of a hot take, not gonna lie. But I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I just don't think anybody would go. I don't think the league would go for it. They want somebody flashy.
I think they should. I mean, this meta is all about tempo. This stage 3.
I got a frog in my
and the Dallas Fuel have been unbeatable. And obviously, in a meta about tempo, either your tank player or your main support, you're playing the Lucio, are going to be really, really important. Hanbin's been excellent, but I think Chio's been another level this stage.
Chio really has. I mean, and Hanbin, if anybody's going to get it, I think Hanbin would get it. But
I personally think he's MVP contender, but I don't think it's going to happen either.
I agree. I was gonna pick Chio. We were gonna have 3 Korean Lucio players for your rookie watch this week and kind of stay on a theme.
I was very excited about it.
Unfortunately, I was not able to dial in the clip that I was looking for. So I went with a little bit of a throwback. We've been absent for a couple weeks, so it's okay, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But there is a similar theme. There is still a theme to all this, and that is Ajax. That is the canceling of ultimates. I know. I'm sorry, Ajax. I don't mean to. Yeah, at least you remembered. But it is the canceling of ultimates is your theme of the day here. This one coming out of Hydron is Washington versus Florida, and right there, opener is about to slam down to try to save point A. Here for Washington, and just gets their head clipped right off by Hydron. Let's see that again. Up in the corner. It's actually a brilliant shot. I really wanted... It's a brilliant shot. If you pause here, look at how much clearance Hydron had over the payload. It is just a few pixels to get over that payload and to find opener's dome with that railgun shot. It was gorgeous. And I really, really wanted the... it made play of the day on the desk, and they show it from 17 different angles, and you get the angle from Hydron where you can just barely see it clear and the minimal room for error. It was brilliant. Unfortunately, apparently that whole broadcast got removed from YouTube for whatever reason.
Weird.
So I had to go with just the match highlights, and we don't get all of the cool angles. But I'm telling you, it was a brilliant work out of Hydron, who's always one of my favorite players from T2 back in the American Tornado days, and yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Some more of our rookie class just popping off and shelling out there in Overwatch League. So there you have it.
Yeah, Hydron was on my list of potential rookie of the year candidates, and I think he's not had the environment that he really required to make that kind of impact.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
On a middling team, fighting Xe for time on his slots, it's unfortunate.
I think someone though has had a really good season.
Yeah, agreed.
Another rookie.
Yeah.
I think what was really cool, actually, I talked about on our first ever episode. Someone like as an individual tank player could just play fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like, and he showed that in
Yeah,
Korea
that keeps
before
coming up.
Yeah. Another main tank currently in Contenders Korea who could play everything. I think should be in Overwatch League next season. Overwatch League teams are scouting properly. That guy, his name is Anacast.
Yeah.
Bring him in.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, there we go. That's your rookie watch for episode 21.
How have I managed to sneak that one in?
You always do. You always manage to somehow shoehorn in an Anacast compliment somewhere in the podcast.
I'm telling you, he's obviously quality.
You'll get no disagreement out of me. I'm just saying.
All right, let's rattle through these main topics so I can go back to bed. I kid. You will notice that we are absent one region this week, and that's because we are absent one podcast host. And I don't know about you, I wasn't going to pick up the slack. Unfortunately, there won't be any EMEA recap here of qualifiers. So I'll kick things off here with China Bsides qualifiers. So the teams that have made it through the Contenders China works a little bit differently to everybody else because we don't have returning Contenders teams. The reason for that, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. At least some of this is tied up in the fact that Contenders China didn't get the beta. Like, they got access to the client like a couple of weeks, a week before A-Side started. And so there aren't any Contenders teams, and so it works a little bit differently. So rather than having Bsides be like top 8 from last year's Contenders, it is top 4 from A-Sides get automatic entry into the main event in Bsides, and I believe a first round bye. The bottom 4 get automatic entry into qualifiers. I'm really having to pull this out of my arse right here. 1 second. Let me actually bring up the Wikipedia so that I can talk as if I know what I'm saying. Right, yes. So, in the main event, it is Flagship Recreators, Time Resume, Hunan Gaming, Solus Victorium, who are the top 4 from A-Sides, get automatic entry into the main event. They don't have to play through the qualifiers. The bottom 4 from A-Sides get a first round bye into the quarterfinal rounds of the qualifiers event. So that is Team Arslan, New Life. It's not Zones, because Zones actually I don't think made it in there, but Zones picked up someone else's spot, and NGUS. All of the other teams coming into Bsides are through open qualification. So it's
interesting.
Not quite the same as like coming back up through open division. It was like the way A-Sides qualifiers worked was there were teams that came in from open division and teams that came in via just applying to come and play in A-Sides. And the same has happened here for B-Sides. And so we have actually had several rounds of the qualifiers through here. We still have a couple of the teams that made it through A-Sides into the automatic qualification here. But some have now dropped down into the lower bracket. The ones that we've lost entirely are NGUS, who dropped in a 3-2 series to Zones, and OVO, who lost in a 3-2 series to Happy Gaming. We've also lost... we're about to see whether we lose New Life or Zones in the next round, the lower bracket quarterfinals. But the team that we really want to look at here, and the team that I highlighted earlier, is HLXC, Dutch Trolley. They've not had the clean run through here that I was really expecting. They actually dropped a map to NGUS in the upper bracket quarterfinals, which was incredibly surprising to me. Unfortunately, we don't have, because of how this is broadcast and how this is produced, we actually don't have a lot of this footage. We don't get to go back and watch these matches between NGUS and HLXC. But NGUS were a weird team in A-Sides because they were the only team who opted unpressured out of the Junker Queen mirror. So Apollo in NGUS ran a lot of Zarya and ran some Sigma. And I do wonder in this matchup if we saw NGUS either level up their Junker Queen play or HLXC just being so baffled by running into a Zarya that they just gave up a control map for no good reason. But we should have our top 4, I believe, in the next week or so, and then we are on to the actual main event, which will be broadcast with an English language broadcast. Myself, Billy, Waffles for Sid, and Dan Dryad, bringing that to you in just a couple of weeks, and that's where we are with Bsides.
So just to recap, the top 4 from this qualifying double elim bracket will go in with Solus Victorum, Hunang, Time Resume, and Flagship for the main event, correct?
Yes, correct. We also have some changes here that I think are interesting, particularly on Solus Victorum, right? So we were talking about the level of Overwatch League talent that's coming on HLXC. Solus Victorum actually now have a little bit more of that themselves. So they've picked up Crystal here as a third DPS player. They've moved Merlan Ran permanently off of the DPS role and into the support role, where we can expect to see him play Brigitte for however long Solus Victorum are in the tournament. So some roster shuffles there, certainly for Solus Victorum.
Yeah, it shows they picked up Eileen and Crystal as well.
Yeah, Eileen, I'm having to think about this. 12 was already on the roster. Yeah, you're right. Eileen and Crystal are the two that got picked up. It was Pressure that was dropped from the tank line that moved over to Huneng Gaming.
Another good player, Pressure. Sorry.
Sorry?
I was saying another good player, Pressure. I think he's good.
Yeah. Pressure was very strong. I just think, like, China is a weird region this season. In part, China is like viewed as being a very strange reason because they opt a lot of the time like out of whatever the meta the rest of the world is playing. I think that happened less over the past couple of years. I think they've moved away from that kind of reputation. But this season in particular, the region didn't get access to the beta in the same way that the rest of the world got it. And so, like, when it hit, Flagship Recreators just had the right pieces in the right place to really succeed in this meta. And I think everybody else was playing catch up a little bit. I'm hopeful that Bsides is a little bit more even now that people have had a little more time to play.
Oh, it's so important just for the overall level of competitiveness too.
Yeah.
And this is part of why it's so good to get that roster coming in. That, oh my goodness, I'll never get those letters straight. Like my dyslexia, I will always like switch around HLXC. Like there's no way I'm ever gonna get that right.
Call them Dutch trolley. It's apparently what it means. I don't know why. Apparently, well, okay. In my defense, that is the Google Translate translation of their name. Who knows?
I like it. I like it. Dutch trolley it is. But that is why having a squad of that caliber is so important, because you've gotta raise the level of competitiveness again, and get this region back up in step, because for a couple of years China had really started to close that gap. I mean, we saw that exemplified in 2020, where they were arguably the best region.
I think they just had one team, Matt.
Okay. Well, they had the best team in the world. Okay, you're right. Let's say that they weren't the best region. They had the best contenders team in the world in Team CC.
Yeah. I think, look, China also as a country were providing the second most amount of players to Overwatch League, and that was true until the end of the season, or the mid season here of this Overwatch League. They were the second best contenders region in the world, and let's be real, they're probably now third.
Yeah, I mean, arguably fourth.
We were arguing about this earlier. We're not sure. We're not sure on that. We were kind of like comparing some of the EU and China teams. Yeah. And we were having some discussions on it.
Yeah.
But that's still like when you look at, I don't know,
that's not good.
When you look at like Team Peps and EXO versus
certainly EXO.
Yeah. Like it'd be hard to convince me that China is a more competitive region at this moment. Again, given all of the circumstances that Phil had outlined, like it's not their fault. It's not that they're shitty players or don't know how to play Overwatch. Like it's not their fault. There are some extreme outliers at this, but circling back around to my original point, I think bringing in better competition will raise the overall level of skill coming out of this region, and that's good for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
It's my turn, right?
Indeed.
I was say, is that it for China? And moving on?
That is. I mean, we could go into the weeds on who has moved where and try and speculate on the reasons for that. I think a large part of the change in several rosters here in Bsides is precipitated by the formation of HLXC and people going, oh, actually, no, I want to go play on this roster. And that's just shuffled some people around. I just hope that there's enough time here for our teams to get up to the level that we know they are capable of playing.
Amen. Couldn't agree more.
Now it's Ethan's turn.
Time to go to Korea. And there's been some stories in Korea, I'll tell you that much, right? So we had our A sides, right? And essentially the top 4 teams, which didn't change, O2 Blast, T1, Panthera, and Talon, they kept their spots in B sides. And then we had a qualifier, a closed qualifier, which was interesting. We had some results in this closed qualifier. And let's just start with the big thing. The WGS, for the first time since 2018, will not be in Contenders Korea. That is a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been top of the heap in a few of those seasons as well. Like,
Contenders.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? They're gone. And they weren't even close.
No.
It was just back at round 2 they went out. The team no plan. They had a bit of a run themselves. If I go to their roster, I'll tell you a couple of their players. They have Flocko. They lost a couple of their players for this B-Sides qualifier, now that I think about it. But they have Flocko, who's another really good flex support, so that was one player to mention. And Uprising Academy, gone. Uprising Academy, there was a big highlight on their move to Korea.
Upper Academy, rather than Uprising Academy.
Sorry, oh yeah, you're right, Up Academy. UPA, sorry.
Different region. Different academy team.
Why are they both the Ultra Prime Academy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They are gone. Got 3-0'd. Absolutely dismantled by JNGK, who also didn't qualify. Right? So we're in this situation where WGS and UPA nowhere near qualifying for Contenders Korea. Mm-hmm. And when you have the resources of those orgs, that's a shock.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're talking about an academy team. This is the Guangzhou Charge Academy team that was mostly comprised of Team Chaser players, coincidentally enough.
In fairness, Jimmy, Aprita, and Zernes all went up to Guangzhou and are performing really, really well. But also they finished 5th through 6th. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big disappointment moving to Korea for them. But there are some more positive stories. Let's talk about Simprissa Gaming.
Yeah.
Somebody who 3-0'd Up Academy.
Yeah, well, I wanna talk about this because this is really important. Because we've been talking about the small moves that Simprissa have been making, right? They slowly have been picking up players. They started with Sangonar. They had Roxanne initially. They actually dropped Roxanne in a poor pay to pick up Tuyu. And they've just been making slow but steady moves. Not only did they qualify for B-Sides, they're in the top 6 automatically. They're in the top 6 because they beat Talon.
Ooh, they beat Talon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Power plays coming in from Simprissa Gaming. We said to keep an eye on them. We were right. We were suspicious of them. Sneaky mugs. Look at them. Slowly but surely. And now they could be a top tier threat in Korea. They won the qualifier. They did lose the winners bracket game to Pokerface, which is the old Incendia Evolution roster, but then they fought back and beat them 3-1. The other 2 teams to qualify were Starlight Gaming, SLT, who are, I think, still SLC Seongnam, and then also TDI went through. No JNGK with their new facilities. So TDI, SLT, Simprissa Gaming, and Pokerface went in. And yeah, that's where we are in Contenders Korea. No UPA, no WGS. Those are the major stories.
Yeah, that's a big upset.
Circling back to this Simprissa Gaming roster, who, I mean, I recognize, you know, like the names that were in Overwatch League. But who on this roster should I be keeping an eye on? If you had to pick one that is going to end up in OWL, which one of these players would you pick?
This is a difficult thing to answer because like Wu-Chan, I believe, is a Genji player, so I don't think that Wu-Chan's going to get picked up over like a top dragon, for example, right? They're in a lot of their players outside of Tuyu and Sanguinar and are in competition with other players from Contenders Korea. But I think they're all pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are bad. In fairness, I think they're all pretty good. Wu-Chan is a star player. In fairness, I think Lucy Ben's had a really, really good season so far. So probably look at those two, but I wouldn't say they'll be in all.
I feel like Toyu was underutilized on Seoul, and I was very surprised to see. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got no complaint against, as a Seoul Dynasty fan, I have no complaints against having Smurf on the roster, and he has been intercoursing, I believe is the phrase kids are using today on the Seoul Dynasty. But like, some of the flexibility of having a top flight off tank player is a thing I would have liked to have seen for Seoul Dynasty, and like, I was sort of plumping for them to retain or pick Toyu back up because I think he's one of the better off tank players in the region.
I think he's been really, really good. Especially in the games we've seen so far. So look, I think I like the steps that they're making. I think all of these players, I think you'll be looking at maybe Sanguinar and Tuyu for Overwatch League. The rest of them you'll be looking at Contenders Korea next season and what they can do then. Because I still think individually they're a little bit behind some of the other players.
Fair enough. But
as a team, man, they're fucking good. They just beat Talon. Like,
the only team that's huge. Oh yeah, the only team they dropped a map to was Poker Face. That was it.
They lost the series to Poker Face as well.
Yeah, but I mean that's across they ended up losing a total of 4 maps to Poker Face, which did equate to one of the series. But that was the only team to even take a map. Everybody else was 3-0s for Simprissa, including Up Academy.
So yeah. Oh, another big thing actually. SLT, they've signed a couple of really good players. Slime, you'll know from
yeah.
They've signed Slime and Aster. Now Aster's fucking cracks. They signed them from Incendia Evolution / Poker Face. So yeah, big signing coming in from SLT. And also I think Imp, if I'm correct, Imp is Shui. Yeah, Imp is Shui, who used to play the London Spitfire.
Okay.
Oh really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
where do I know the name Aster from?
Aster was on Incendia.
Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, and Slime still exists. Slime is still playing.
So their signings, Aster, who was brilliant in the most recent season, Slime, we know how good Slime is, and Shui, who they signed off Team No Plan.
I mean, that's the first sighting we've seen of anybody from that Runaway roster. Am I wrong?
This Runaway roster? 2019?
Aside from what, Twilight? Twilight stuck around, but
yeah, a lot of players found new homes to go to and then got dropped for various reasons.
Right.
Right, gamers, just while I'm distracted, I didn't remember how good Johnny was, and he's just not around.
Yeah, that's true for a good chunk of that Runaway roster, isn't it? It's like, these were some of the best players in the world, and they've just got like, what happened to Bumper? Like Bumper just got Thanos snapped. He's gone. He's in the wind. I think I'm sure he is still streaming. I'm sure Dayback Owl on Twitter will correct me.
But like Johnny was like fucking on the Justice for a bit as well. Like,
yeah,
that's right.
Where'd he go? Like,
where'd Suminsu go?
Yeah,
they're all gone.
I mean, and we look at the San Francisco Shock just broke that win streak record, but that was over the course of 2 seasons, and with some middling results in tournaments in between that. You know, you look at that
technically undefeated.
Yeah, but you look at that Vancouver roster. Where they won 19 in a row, all in the same season, and they dominated the stage tournaments as well. Like that, just to put into perspective how good that roster was during the GOATS era. Like, anyway. So it's good to see Slime back, circling back around our original point. Good to see Slime
Hawks,
back.
though? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
Can I just drag us back into the realm of T2? I didn't realize the owner of Sinprisa Gaming is Mobugi. Yeah.
Where do we know that name from?
Wait.
200 millisecond Genji Team BM Paris Atona. He was coaching for Paris Atona most
Gotcha.
recently.
So,
Gotcha.
what's really interesting about Saprissa is how they were formed originally as well.
It's
So
like part of the Gen G explosion, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so when Gen G went away, Saprissa were like, yo, we'll just be Gen G's old roster plus Sanguinar. And then they also picked up Tsuyu, who was also with Gen G previously. And they've done really well. Also, interesting fact, Roxanne is playing for Ground Zero in Australia right now. Keep an eye on that player. I still think they're very good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Story I was really excited about. And Saprissa in particular is just amazing. And then also just the fact that UPA and WGS got eliminated very early.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's,
very early.
It's a brave new world out here in Contenders Land.
Yeah,
I'm kind of reminded where the other UA struggled to get out of trials there for the longest. You just got academy teams that kind of floundering a little bit. It's unfortunate. Hey, you know what? I'm sure I'm sure it's just one or two pickups away from them turning it all around. Because they got to find somebody to replace. Well, I mean, Jimmy and Aprita.
Yeah. Right, I think we've got one more region to look at, Jeff.
Are we moving on to NA? Let's move on to NA. All right. Well,
I think there's only one place to start, mate.
Oh yeah? What's that place? Go ahead.
Well, it's time to start with Cryox, isn't it?
Yeah, let's talk about Cryox. Let's talk about Cryox. Cryox had an incredible run. I mean, it came out of the gate swinging. Came out of the gate by beating Odyssey and beating Redbirds day one.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone remember their reaction to watching that and thinking it was a joke? Like, seeing the score. I thought it was a joke on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, that was our first two games. Now, I mean, unfortunately, they couldn't quite maintain that level of play. But still, this was a team that you highlighted kind of going into A-sides. And they struggled a little bit to get their feet underneath them coming out of A-sides and kind of finding their rhythm. But holy shit, they made everybody take notice in the T2 scene when it came to B-sides. And it all started with that first day. Those were both 3-2 victories as well. If I'm remembering.
I'm glad you remembered that, by the way.
Remembered what?
Thank you very much. That I actually had a brain for once.
Oh yeah.
They took a map off Odyssey, and I was like, "Yo, watch out."
Yeah. So both 3-2 victories over Redbirds and Cryox. Fun stat that I'll get into here in a minute. I came up with a couple of little, just fun little stat things, but one of which Redbirds played 4 5-map games in a row. All 4 of their first series went to map 5. They would win 2 of those and lose 2 of those, but they played 20 maps of Overwatch in 2 days in officials.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
No thanks. That sounds exhausting.
So can I bring something up that's pretty fucking cool about this Cryox roster?
Yeah.
Sorry, no, genuinely, this is really cool. So does anyone? Okay, now I know like this tournament is not remembered fondly in any way. Well, at least not in the ways that it should have been. When we had the Empowerment Cup and we talked about HK and Bun as a DPS show.
Yes,
absolutely.
HK is now here on the Genji on her preferred hero, shitting on people.
HK and Bun both had fantastic series. Yeah. They both played their asses off, and I am so proud of them both.
But what's really cool is I believe we have 3 females on this roster, and Pone. What's Pone's type now? Pone a W. I'm just double checking I got my pronouns right. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kindred, who used to be Pone.
Okay.
I think they might be. I can't remember their pronouns. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, well, at least there's 2 females on this roster, at least, and HK and Wicca / A Year in One Day on Twitter, which that's cool. And so we're seeing not just a tier 3 team come out of nowhere and get a good performance. We're seeing more female talent, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agree.
Super important representation. And just badass players. I don't care what gender you are. They're badass players.
Sorry, I wanna check. I wanna not miss anyone when I bring up this because we want to talk about this later on when we talk about NA. Because there's so many females kicking butt.
a very well-researched podcast as per usual.
Always.
Oh,
Okay, well, while you're looking that up, I'll continue my talks here
Please
about
do.
NA. Because Odyssey would lose that first match. It would be the only match that they would lose for the entirety of B-side qualifiers. They went on to go 10-1, win every single game after that first match. I guess it was their second match, against Cryaxle's first day. And just dominate, which, considering they had their entire backline poached from underneath them by Paris Eternal, as well as their Genji player and Mouthful poached underneath, or Mouthiel, how do you pronounce that?
Mouthful, I believe.
I always thought it was Mouthful as well, but they were saying Mouthiel on the broadcast for Summer Series. And I mean, I trust, that the casters are doing their research on pronunciation. So, I heard him saying Mouthiel for the entirety of the broadcast. Wow. Either way, no longer on Odyssey. Now in Overwatch League and doing what they can up there. So Odyssey definitely had some big roster changes, and so to see them continue their dominance coming off of the championship that they had for Bsides, and then to turn around and come in here and just stomp through qualifiers, it looks like they hadn't missed a step. Which is brilliant. That's not easy to do, to find that, especially in this kind of a meta where the synergy and the timing is so delicate and so important. That is not easy to do. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up my roster changes here, because they weren't the only ones. There were just a few roster changes that I thought were notable. Coming over from Bsides to Bsides, Redbirds added a few but lost Chime. So Lethal coming in to pick up Chime's spot where they got from EXO. Lethal coming from EU to play for Redbirds here in this tournament. Redbirds would go on to get third place, if memory serves. Yeah, third place, kind of tied with Pirates and Pajamas in overall record. Didn't quite have the map score. Pirates and Pajamas, they're ones that kind of underwhelmed in Bsides, and we were kind of wondering what was going on with this squad. They came back in a big way, and I believe... Let's see. They had.
Well, they had Lep picked up for Houston.
They had Lep
Outlaws.
picked up, exactly.
Yeah.
So they added Chime, Aspen, and Zolik to their roster coming into Bsides. Which, big Aspen fan. She's been playing contenders for a long time. She's been playing at a high level for a long, long time. Remember casting her on Revival back in the day. Like, that's. So one of my favorite main supports, Chime moving over from Redbirds to go play for Pirates and Pajamas, and did really well. So these shakeups working out nicely there. Knicks had some changes. They lost Bun, who was a player that we were highlighting. She left, and Akash also left. They picked up Nami and Kuffa. That was.
Am I going crazy, or are the two people currently playing as Bun in NA?
No,
I think it's on the same button.
Okay.
Just moved around a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of musical chairs.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. I think it's just a little bit of musical chairs. Okay, one of the big fall offs. So we talk about how much Cryax surprised. Wisp, I think, kind of fell off pretty hard in this tournament, which is understandable. Like, they lost their entire backline in CJ and Vega. They also lost their main tank in Crary, who got picked up to that Paris Eternal roster. So they had J-Bubs, Yumitra, and Juby were the subs for their tank and their two supports. And Wisp did not find their rhythm like Odyssey did. Odyssey were the ones who thieved their backline. And Wisp struggled a little bit, still managed to make the main event. So, like, there's still time to find that groove. Like, it doesn't matter what your record is here. Too much, you make the main event, you can still go in and win that huge $75,000 prize pool, or at least your portion of it. But that was a team that... I had picked to win it all back in Bsides. That was, again, back before King got poached. King was originally on that roster, but went to Vancouver before Bsides happened. Wisp still did extraordinarily well. Got second place in Bsides and did extremely well. Odyssey seemed to be the only team that could beat them. That they kind of got a little ran over here in the Bsides qualifiers.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to consider. Like, one of the earliest episodes we did was how do you define what a successful team is, like what the most successful contenders team is.
Yeah.
So for a team like Wisp, if you view them as a team that helped develop Crawley helped develop King and sent them on the way to Overwatch League. If that has unfortunately impacted your results at Tier 2, I still think you need to view that as a win. I know there are orgs in Tier 2 who, like, all they care about is winning. I know there are orgs in Tier 2 who care more about, like, are we doing
the only way to get the
thing
answer
for
is
our
to ask
players?
them, right? What is your goal?
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have more time to do that and to get some coaches and other staff on the podcast, and we can talk about those things.
Yeah, let's talk to somebody from Wisp. That'd be fun.
I think we'll have to wait till after Bsides is over. Everybody scrims on Friday nights.
Oh, we
I
actually might have a really cool Wisp person to interview later on.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before.
But again, they all scrim on Friday nights. So I think we'll have to wait until after B-Sides before we can start getting those people in. But that is definitely in the works, friends. We definitely want to get and actually hear from them. We can only speculate to a lot of these things, but I would love to shine some more light. Give them the floor to be able to talk about their teams, talk about their goals, talk about the personality of these squads. Really want to delve into that stuff more as we continue through with this podcast. But Friday night being the only night that we all kind of align as far as schedules, unfortunately doesn't work out with the scrimming schedule of these teams, so it'll have to wait a couple weeks. Some fun facts here. Just some, I don't know. I thought it was some, I like stats and numbers and stuff, so I put together just a couple of little things that I wanted to go over. Nothing too crazy. First off, let's see. Let me just, boom, look at, oh my God, that is a lot of me. I'm always so scared to full screen myself. Like, I don't like it. Like, it's just weird.
It was literally like the camera had, like, zoomed in on the front of a dolly towards you, and you were like, oh.
Like, whoa. We had quite a few 5-map series over the course. Each team played 11 games. So I mean, there was a lot of games going on. Everybody played each other once. Let's see. It was. Math. We had 32 5-map series.
Jesus.
Well, 32. Okay, so that would be some of them played each other. There were a lot of map 5s. Yeah. Like there were, so I guess you could technically cut that in half. So there were 16 series that went to map 5, but this was interesting to me.
I want to do like a check to see if the percentage of map 5 series has went up in contenders since we started doing the podcast.
Oh. You think we're having an impact?
Big brain.
Yeah.
I'm just going to 100% say it is. I haven't done the math. I haven't looked, but I'm just going to say yeah.
The most important thing is if you're going to say something, say it confidently.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. So since Map 5 podcast has been around, the amount of Map 5s that we have seen in NA, EMEA contenders has went up dramatically. Also the case in contenders Korea. And not China. China's kind of struggled with the whole Map 5.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah.
The move to Overwatch 2? No, not important.
No.
The formation of this podcast.
It's this podcast. That's right. It's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Of those map 5s, Redbirds played the most. Redbirds went to 5 map series out of their 11 games. 4 of them in a row, as I mentioned earlier. They won 3 of those. Let's see, other notables were Cryex. Cryex went to 4 map 5 series, winning 3 of them. UA went to 4 as well. Mm-hmm. Those were your tops there. Another interesting stat that I wanted to bring up, which I thought was just kind of indicative of domination, was 3-0 sweeps versus 0-3 losses. So Nyx actually led the charge. Nyx and Pirates in Pajamas both had 5 3-0 sweeps, leading B-Sides. So 5 of their 11 for each of those teams respectively. Odyssey right behind them with 4. Redbirds only had 2. So despite getting third place, Redbirds were still dropping quite a few maps throughout their 11 games. Unfortunately on the receiving end of that, Melon Nation lost 4 series in 0-3 losses. Sleepover Party lost 6. of their 11-3 losses. So two of the teams that just couldn't quite put it together here. Altiora, Dark Mode, almost said Death Mode. Death Mode's a better name for the record. Altiora, Dark Mode, and Young and Beautiful, each pulling up with 3-3 losses as well. So just to kind of give an idea of just a painted general picture of what we saw there in qualifiers. Unfortunately, some of those teams we just mentioned won't be moving on. So moving into the main event, those bottom 4 teams are eliminated.
Yeah.
Which I'm most disappointed in Young and Beautiful.
Yeah.
But the GeForce roster that has been so dominant since their inception a little under a year ago had just kind of blew the roof off during the off season. We're kicking ass in open division.
Okay.
And then we hit a Junker Queen meta.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so this team was so good at ball comps, right? They had a couple of the variations that they did. They had some couple of other things that they could do. But I think coming to a new game, not having as much practice as a lot of other teams, they were always going to be hit hard. I would have actually liked to see them play a lot more ball than they did. I think that could have been a better look for them, but Junker Queen's kind of busted.
Yeah, it is what it is. And we'll hopefully get another set of contenders tournaments a little later on in the year. Maybe meta will change and we'll see the rise of GeForce again. Plus, I mean, it was good to see Young and Beautiful back. Like, it's a very beloved team, even though they kind of made the crossover from EU to NA, but still a very beloved team in the Path to Pro system. So it was good to see them make a comeback. It's unfortunate for and they picked up a great roster overall. Was not their meta.
No, I think I couldn't have asked for a better combination of like a brand or an organization that I have a lot of time for in all uppercase, and a roster that I have a lot of time for. Like it's a good marriage there. Hopefully, the next time a contender series rolls around and we get Bsides or whatever we get after this, we get a meta where they can play to those strengths.
I agree. Let's see some notable players. My final point here on NA. I don't want to delve too deep into these matches. We'll save that for the main event. But just a couple of notable players. Tree goes without saying. Just continues to have incredible performances and kind of lead the charge as far as Sojourn, the 15-year-old, just the newest prodigy for NA 2022 is absolutely Tree. But there's a lot of fantastic people to keep an eye on. Let's go circle back around to Cryex. Not only has HK been doing really well on the Genji, but Rymazing on the Sojourn had some phenomenal performances. I think definitely something to keep an eye on there. Peace was one that stood out to me as well. Yeah. Yes. I mean, hey, Arrow made our top 3 from side A. Arrow is an absolute beast, especially when you start talking about Widowmaker and Ash. I think is where Arrow really shines.
Like Sojourn, in my opinion. So yeah.
Yeah, no,
and
Arrow
also,
from Uprising Academy.
Yoppin do be popping also.
Yeah.
But like I like Arrow. So
Uprising Academy, actually, I didn't even really mention them. They had no roster changes from side A, same squad to the T, and they did much better. Like they came in, they got 5th. Like they kind of fell off a little bit on A sides. They seemed to get their act together a lot more in B sides.
Plus ratio, plus they fell off.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm telling you, by the end of the year, UA will be top 2.
Okay.
Think so?
Wow.
Yeah.
Clip that, somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, full prediction. The last contenders final of the year will be Pip versus UA.
Really?
Okay.
I think that's bold.
I don't think it's very bold, to be honest.
I think the act of making that prediction so early is bold.
Yeah.
I'm very, very confident in it. Look at the development UA have made. Look at the development Pip have made. Look at their rosters and like the type of flexibility they have. Oh yeah, I'm confident.
I don't see Odyssey falling off.
I'm not saying Odyssey falls off at all.
At this trajectory, I'm not sure anybody can beat Odyssey. Odyssey are your team to beat in NA. Period.
I 100% feel that by the end of the year, it's not that Odyssey are going to fall off. I think Odyssey will be on a rise. I just think the rise of UA and Pip is going to be higher.
Pirates and Pajamas, I could see challenging them. Like, as they continue this trajectory, I could see it. UA, I'm not convinced that they're going to reach that kind of peak at this point.
Oh, no, they will.
You were right about Cryx. I mean, Cryx became competitive.
Yeah.
So...
I was right about Suppressor.
Yeah, you're right about Simprissa as well.
Yep.
Look, Jeff, I don't know about you, but I have long accepted that my role in this podcast is not person who is right about things.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
No, I might get this wrong. I might get this wrong.
Don't get too choked up about it, Phil. I know, it's okay.
I might get this wrong, but I feel like they're going to go on a sky-high trajectory, both of these teams.
All right. Bold predictions.
Actually, you know how fucking weird I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna.
Are you feeling weird enough that you would volunteer to pose for the thumbnail for this episode, holding a picture of a character from Data Live?
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Nyx positively.
Good grief.
Nyx played. You know what? Nyx made some really, really good staff recruitment before this tournament. Really good. Very impressed by their staff recruitment, not just in terms of their coaching staff for this tournament, but they also signed Perps as a content person. Brilliant signing. They've made some really good decisions, and I'm not a fan of Nyx. I'm look, realistically, I'm not, right? I don't like the way they do things, or I haven't liked the way they've done things in the past. I don't like the personnel they have at the top, but they've made some really good changes, and they got some really good results because of it. Credit to them. The players straight up both played really, really well in particular.
Yeah.
Amir is currently their head coach. I think Shyam and Reggie are currently involved. Two very, very good coaches as well, from what I've heard. I think I've only ever really had conversations with Amir out of that group. But the other two, very, very good as far as I've heard secondhand. Good season from them. Good qualifiers. Well played.
Definitely.
And good recruitment. Keep it up.
A lot of love and respect for Amir on this podcast, no doubt there.
Right, I'm going to drag us over I was going to say I'm going to drag us over the finish line, guys, here, because I feel like we've squeezed what we can out of that segment.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's good. I just want to give some farewells to Peace and Bun. They were awesome. I loved watching them play. Fortunately, we won't see them in the main event, so sad face for that.
Nah, very, very unfortunate.
Hopefully, we'll see them back here for whatever the next event is, though, because those are definitely players that we should be keeping an eye on.
Yeah. Hopefully we get something winter themed, so that we then have to scrabble to find out an appropriate summer theme version for the Australian Contenders season. Oh yeah, we haven't looked at Contenders Australia at all. That is a big mea culpa on our part.
Phil,
yes, boss.
Stop beating around the bush, mate. We think that there's going to be more seasons later on. Okay, toodaloo.
Yes.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
And we, like we said, we couldn't really touch on EMEA. I think the shining light there was EXO. EXO undefeated. Team Peps went 10-1. EXO beat Team Peps pretty handedly. So
one of the teams I'm fond of, L1, scraped in the final day, and we're happy with that.
So there you go.
Good job.
There we go. That's the 1,000-foot bird's eye view of what happened over in EMEA.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, I want to go to bed, and so we're gonna rapidly dive headfirst towards the end of this podcast, and it is time now for our tier 2 tweet of the week. And we've kind of already made some of the points that this tweet made, but it made them much more succinctly than we ever could. So let's have a look. That's right, Young and Beautiful. Bring back Yab, sign a ball one-trick team, Junker Queen. Unfortunate, that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We really hope that Young and Beautiful get a more favorable meta next time round, because I don't want to see Yab fold. I want to see them do well, and I want to see the GeForce guys do well. Agreed on all accounts.
You kind of gotta appreciate the fact that they can kind of laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
Totally. It's like, well, shit.
Whoops. Who could have seen that one coming? Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh. We're rooting for you, Yab. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, totally rooting for Yab. Really like the GeForce guys. Really like
I'm
the
ready
brand
for
of
you.
Yab.
Hey, what are we talking about?
Shut up.
Sorry. I like
Most
Yab
of us,
gamers. Okay.
those of us that aren't just like automatically preferential of the all-Korean team are rooting for Yab.
That's it. I'm turning his camera off. That's- now officially everybody on this podcast is rooting for Yab.
Hang on.
We can mute him as well. We can mute him. I can server level mute him.
Have you guys heard of Arrow? Have you guys heard of Anacats? Have you guys heard of Chorong?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Phil, get us out of here quickly. Get us out of here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Those of you that have tuned in for this, thank you for putting up with all the bots that we don't seem to know how to deal with in chat. Thank you, Pad, for jumping in and doing your best to corral all of those. Much appreciated. Thank you to Glitch for letting us use her rendition of the King's Row theme. I believe she's got her YouTube back now, which is good. We're glad to see that. And I guess we'll be back again next week for something. Enjoy.
Damn right we will.
Join us.
We'll see you then.
Thank you.